What's up, everyone? Happy 4th of July, 250th anniversary of freedom in the United States. Happy 4th. Thanks for tuning in if you're in here and watching tonight. I'm your host, Lorenzo Scarabino. Welcome to the Yankees Den podcast. It is just me again tonight, but I will be home tomorrow back at my regular setup, better camera quality, the better mic. I'll have everything. I'll be at my setup, the backdrop, and everything. Jimmy should be tuning in tomorrow if he does not have work. But the Yankees lose today by a score of 11-4 and are still 4 games out of the East, not capitalizing on their opportunity to take a game as the Rays lost thanks to Yordan Alvarez tonight. But let's get into the recap a little bit, and then we have some of our notes, and let's just dive into some things that I want to go over and cover. And what we saw from yesterday's game, which was good, and today's game, they did score 4 runs, which I think they need a little more, and didn't capitalize enough today. But the pitching also didn't do their job and their defense. And let's dive into why maybe that was. And then we'll hit some trade targets later. We'll go over the probable matchup and then we'll wrap this thing up. But heading into the recap tonight, we have Brandon Beck, or I should say, excuse me, today we had Brandon Beck who got the spot start because Rodon went down. So he got the spot start. Don't know why it was him, but he goes 3 and 2/3 innings pitched. He gives up 5 hits, 5 runs. He allows 2 walks, and he only has 3 Ks. Was he in for too long? Did he get too much of a leash and runway with Boone? But then Hill comes in. This is the pitching side. Hill goes an inning, gives up a solo homer, the first batter he faces in the inning with 2 outs. Then Bird comes in. He only gets 2 outs, and he gives up a hit and a walk, 0 runs. Yarbrough comes in. He pitches an inning and 2/3. He gives up a home run to Josh Bell. Doval comes in. He gives up 3 hits, 0 unearned runs because there was sloppy defense and errors when he was in. Brent Hedrick gets the ninth inning. He goes a clean inning, gives up 0 runs, 0 hits. He has 2 strikeouts. On the offensive side of things, we have, and this is a big home run party today, but not for the Yankees, for the Minnesota Twins, as Brandon Beck was just batting practice. So the Twins jump out early and who have struggled on this July 4th night, of course. But the Twins score first on an RBI double by Buxton. And what was that throw home from Anthony Volpe? The cutoff throw was it hit the dirt as soon as it left his hands. I mean, where was he? How was he throwing that baseball? I don't understand why he's still at shortstop. And we're going to get into that. We bring him up every night when he starts at shortstop, but I got to keep bringing it up till something happens. Hopefully, someone will come across this clip or video or live, and that's in the Yankees FO. Hope, you could only imagine and hope that happens and sees this and actually takes accountability and does something about it. But I'm going to keep saying it. We're real on this podcast. And when players do good, we'll spotlight them. When they do bad, we'll spotlight them. And when they need to be off the team, we'll tell you they need to be off the team. But so going on from that, it's 1-0 Twins on that Buxton RBI double. Then Cody Clemens, who stays red hot, goes yard. He hits a 2-run home run, making it 3-0 Twins after just the first inning. Then we enter the second inning. Luke Chisholm for the Twins homers as well as the Twins continue to mash off Beck, and they go back to back. Jackson goes yard for the Twins as well, 5-0 in the second off of Beck. The Yankees have nothing doing. They strand Jason Dominguez leadoff double and then don't cash him in. Beck then goes back out for the fourth, gets 2 outs, but they pull him, and Hill comes in, and he surrenders a first batter home run, and it's 6-0 Twins. Now we enter the fourth inning. Jason Dominguez, who has 2 hits on the day, he records a home run and gets the Yankees on the board in the 4th inning with a solo home run, 6-1 Twins. Jumping to the 5th inning, the shoe, Max Schumann keeps stepping up when he's needed and called on whenever that is. He doesn't get a lot of playing time, but when he does, he makes sure he makes the most out of it. And what does he do? He gets a 2-run home run in the 5th and gets the Yankees rolling a little bit. They're starting to come back, make some noise. 6-3 Twins in the 5th as well. They don't stop with 2 outs and 2 on. Cody Bellinger finally, who's been in a slump. Hopefully this breaks him out of the slump. With 2 outs and 2 on, like I mentioned, he gets an RBI double, 6-4 Twins now, trailing by 2 after the 5th inning. Good to see Belly do something. I want to see more in the next few games. But then in the next inning in the 6th, Boone pinch hits for Paul Goldschmidt, or pinch hits for Grisham with Paul Goldschmidt with the bases juiced and 2 dead. But in the previous at bat, Ahmed Rosario couldn't come through with them juiced and 1 out. But the spotlight gets handed to Goldschmidt as he's been struggling over his last 22. He gets the chance instead of Grisham off of a lefty, Rogers, and he flies out to strand them loaded in the 6th. Missed opportunity, still 6-4 Twins. Josh Bell then goes yard off of Yarbrough in the 7th inning, 7-4 Twins. Then we head into the 8th. Doval comes in, a ground ball to Jazz immediately, and he makes an error. Looks completely lazy and just terrible look for him at the position. A terrible contract year for him. It has been so terrible for him. I mean, so discouraging. We thought he was going to be good. He had a good year last year. His defense has been all over the place. His offense has been all over the place. Really hasn't put it all together and clicked really after saying he was going to go 50-50, want to participate in the home run derby again. I think that home run derby last year actually messed him up, but he makes an error getting a guy on. Then with the Volpe and Jazz double play, they both didn't look quick at all or didn't do it with any sense of urgency. Very lazy throw by Jazz to first base, transferring with one hand. You got to transfer with two. That's the quickest way. He goes to one and then feeds it, and he was doing it so like nonchalant, like he didn't care. That cost them a double play that should happen. And notice the double plays don't happen when they need to happen and should happen when Volpe and Jazz are the infield duo. It needs to change consistently again because when Cabby was the shortstop, although Jazz was still the second baseman, the double plays got turned. But with that being said, Buxton takes advantage of the errors and drives in a sac fly for the Twins. Another RBI for him, 8-4 Twins. Clemens again staying red hot. RBI single off of Doval with 2 out in the 8th, 9-4. Second unearned run of the inning. Then again, homer for Bell as he hits his second home run, one from each side of the dish. He hits a 2-run homer, making it 11-4, putting the staple nail in the coffin for the game. The Twins win 11-4. The Yankees do no more, and they lose today's game. And now they have a rubber game tomorrow, who they put themselves up again against the wall because you know who they face tomorrow? They face the Twins ace and Joe Ryan. And we have Ryan Weathers, who's been a little shaky as he's approaches inning. And tomorrow he could hit that innings mark if he pitches 6 innings. If he goes 7 innings, he will hit that mark and officially be in uncharted territories. So I'd like to see him do good, 3 or less earned runs. But getting into our notes before we get into the weather start, before we get into Joe Ryan pitching for the other side, gotta keep gotta keep your eye out for Joe Ryan. He's a good guy. He's a good pitcher, someone that the Yankees should trade for. So keep an eye out on him as he pitches tomorrow. Hopefully, though, for the Yankees' sake, they jump on him early and get runs and win the game. But the team got off to a bad start because Brandon Beck, the spot starter, and note, you sent down Spencer Jones, who's been hitting in his second stint up with the major league roster, right? He's been hitting, he's been driving in runs. when you need it the most. We got no hit. We were getting no hit. He breaks up the no hitter. Why do we send down a player who is being productive actually and actually getting better with more time in the majors, and we kept up Anthony Volpe, who hasn't done anything? Shaky defense, got is cooled off and is always hot and cold, and he's never consistent at all. And we bring up Brandon Beck, and please, someone in the comments, tell me if you're watching this after the game as well, or if you're watching this live right now. Were we not able to bring up ERC again? Does he need to wait a little bit before he gets called back up, or is he allowed to be called back up? I mean, Brandon Beck did get sent back down following the game, so who's gonna be brought up? But I don't know why he was a spot starter. He was good, he was doing good in AAA, and he comes up to here and he has 0 clue what he's doing. But we sent down Jones for him, which is ridiculous, and we kept up Volpe, and we make, defensive arrangements and lineups around Anthony Volpe, which is terrible. And it's such a bad management decision and such a bad look for the front office of this New York Yankees team with guys injured, not playing your best defense and offense. And Beck didn't give them much of a chance to begin with, but the Yankees did show good fight. But Brandon Beck, 5 runs. When you give up runs and a home run in the first inning and you look completely lost, it shuts down a team a little bit. But the Yankees didn't let it really shut them down because they were fighting. They were getting there. But he gave up 5 runs. He kept letting it implode. He didn't give up the 3 runs in the first and go back out there and then regroup and say, listen, they got 3 runs. All right, now I'm going to shut them down. Give us some length, some innings. No, he kept that in his head. He let that affect him, and he gave up 5 runs. He gave up back-to-back homers. Not a good outing from him, and I want to see him do good because if this was a showcase to showcase the other teams before the deadline, this did not go as planned at all. So, but I would try and trade him. Who knows if anybody would after seeing this outing? And he also had another stint with the Yankees before this year. This is his second stint, I'm pretty sure, up with the major league roster this year, and he just hasn't looked good or found it. But good fight by them. Defensive blenders as well haunted them. Notice how I talked about it a little bit. Volpe starts and they don't turn the needed double plays. Like I said, they don't look as smooth defensively as a whole. The lineup isn't as smooth and doesn't transition into one another great. You don't have that guy in the bottom of the lineup with Cabby who could bunt, who could play small ball, the fight, have a scrappy at bat. You lose that. And now with guys getting healthy, you're telling me you're gonna keep Volpe up and Cabby's gonna be sitting on your bench? That's a disgrace. I can't with that. That angers me so much that they're gonna keep Cabby on the bench. That is blasphemy. Terrible management by Aaron Boone on his part. Something needs to be done. He needs to be fired and out. But the defense goes into the gutter when Volpe starts. Jazz looking lazy too. Need to get him out. Him and Volpe out makes the team much better, even if you don't bring anybody in. Just those two guys off the field being lazy, get them out off the field, and you instantly just become better. You can have Joe Schmo and Joe Random at second and shortstop, and they'll probably have more of a sense of urgency than Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe, who think they have their spots already there. So, and they don't have to worry who's going to take it. So it's really stupid. First comment, Chris D. Thank you for being in here on July 4th. Hope you had a great night. But thanks for tuning in, the late stream. He says, take over the Yanks. I want Lorenzo managing this team. We need a scrapper like Scarabino. Yes, thank you. I would love to take over the team, manage them, be the GM, make some moves. I think I could do a better job than Brian Cashman has done or Aaron Boone. I wouldn't listen to the front office if I was the manager. I would be able to look at the team with my own eyes and make my own decisions. And I feel like I would do pretty good. Obviously, I would make some bad decisions. Everyone would. Everyone's human. Bad decisions happen. But I would put people in that maybe some people wouldn't put in and some positions. But I try to, and one thing, I don't know if other people do this, but they try to manage the game by watching at home. I'll be watching, I'll try and make decisions. You should do this. Like before it happens, put this guy in. And if they put him in and succeed, I know I made a good decision and my thought process was good. Or if I say put him in and they don't put him in and it goes bad, then I was like, what could have happened if they put him in? Was I right? Or if I say something and it's wrong, then I'm like, I know it was a bad decision and the thought process maybe wasn't there fully. But I try and manage from my couch, from my living room, from my bedroom, wherever I'm watching the game, I try and look at it and see what could be done better. But Aaron Boone should be. And he shouldn't be listening to the front office or analytics. I mean, fans can make decisions just by looking at the games, watching all the games, and Aaron Boone can't make obvious decisions. Brian Cashman can't make obvious decisions like sending Volpe down, sending Wells down. That's atrocious, and those are still problems. And those problems aren't going to fix themselves. Even if you have a good deadline and you keep those guys in the lineup, that's not going to fix itself. That's still going to be a problem. But that, with that, with Beck getting them off to a bad start, the defense crapping their pants and being lazy. It was a really bad look today. They should have won. It's the Twins. They always kill the Twins, and they didn't today. Going into Beck a little bit is why was he up with the team? Why was he the one that got the spot start? I don't understand that. And now he's sent down. Who's gonna be brought back up? Sorry about that. Excuse me. But who's gonna be brought up now? Who do you guys think will be brought up? And Jones got sent down. We talked about that. Did Aaron Boone? And another question, if you are in the chat or you're just catching this after it goes live and it's up, did Boone leave Brandon Beck in too long? Should he have taken him out after maybe he started having a little bit of trouble in the first and you saw he wasn't having it? Or did he make the right move and Brandon Beck just imploded? That leaves me to believe maybe they left him in a little too long after he was doing real bad. Was it a audition for other teams or stuff like that? I really don't know. But Christy, thanks. My bro, talking Yanks in a rough stretch. Yeah, talking Yanks in a rough stretch on July 4th. Fire me up. Yep. Bless you. Thank you. But listen, I want this podcast to grow and I want to build a good community and family with you guys. So I will be here, be live, whatever occasion, whatever time. Sometimes it'll be real late, but I'll make sure I hop on here, get a video, put out a short if I can't go live that night, or I'll just go live because I love talking Yankees and talking to you guys in the comments, but and getting your thoughts because putting my thoughts out here and hearing other people's, you know, their thought process and what they believe and what they think should happen, that gives me better insight on the game too and makes me think more when I'm watching the game. And I love to think when I'm watching the game. That's all I think about. I don't think about anything else. When the Yankee game's on, it's just strictly Yankees. And that's what I think about. And I think about this team. Every play, every at bat, every batter, what they're swinging at, what they're not swinging at, what could be better. Hopefully, maybe one day you guys will see me with the Yankees, and you could be like, "That's Lorenzo, the host from the Yankees." Then, and I'll still be doing this no matter what. But that's the goal. That would be the dream to be with the Yankees in their front office or doing something with the analytics or something, making sure the analytics are right, getting the right players. But jumping into the title a little bit as well is does Jazz Chisholm need to go? He's been too inconsistent. The lollipop kid, the lollipop game, that incident, looking lazy, not wearing his hat on the right way. Just such a terrible look for this Yankees team who's really idolized in Major League Baseball. the most World Series rings, and they're sending out a guy like Jazz Chisholm, who George Steinbrenner would have never. He would have kicked him off the team. He would have never traded for him in the first place. Too flashy, too many chains, worried about the look, the flash. He would keep guys who are classy. Now it's gotten a little bit out of control with Howe lifting the beard policy for Williams. And although some people might like that the beard policy is gone and stuff like that, and don't think it's a big deal, it is to me because tradition is big to me. I love tradition, and you keep guys in place. That's why the Yankees are different. That's what made the Yankees different. Is you couldn't have the beard. If you didn't want to play for them and you're a big name, don't play for the Yankees. Then we don't want you here. But you should come here and you have accountability by the managers who take action, put their foot down. You have to abide by these rules. Hal Steinbrenner, you have to abide by these rules. No beard, be cleaned up. What you should wear the hat the right way. Don't put on all these chains unless you're a superstar like Judge or Ben Rice, who has broken out. Even the heck Bellinger, they wear nothing. These guys, and they're better, way better than you, Jazz. So he needs to go, in my opinion. We're going to talk about some trades and a rise later in this episode, but Jazz Chisholm has been very poor. I went into the season liking him, but being on edge because of his attitude and everything like that. I once said that Jazz would be good if you're starting a new team. He's got the energy. You would want him on the team being your second baseman. But as you dive into it a little more, and he's not wearing the hat the right way. He's playing lazy. You dive into some of the games last year when he's not going good, his attitude sucks. And it needs to be figured out. He's not that good of a player to be doing everything. And Chris says, I'm the Yankees Den pod first fan. Listen, Chris, you will be the number one fan or anyone in here that's been in here for right now. My first 82 subscribers. You guys will all be remembered. And all these comments, I will reply to you guys first. When I get more followers and this thing really takes off and blows up, don't worry. I will not forget you guys. Always respond to your comments. Would always look for you guys. Will always look for you guys in my chat. So thank you, Chris. And he said yes to, I'm pretty sure, me saying Jazz Chisholm needs to go and asking that question. And he follows up pride, power, tradition, pinstripes, Jazz ain't it. And he's not, I don't think he'll be with the team next year. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes this year. Does he get traded? I think we might hear some things come out that the Yankees are listening to Jazz trades and trade offers for this trade deadline because I know in the winter that came up. So does it happen again? I think it should, and maybe that'll wake him up a little bit if he isn't traded. So I think that should happen. And Chris D says, "What's going on with the Yanks pitching?" We're gonna get into that, Chris. Don't you worry. We're gonna get into that, and we're actually you guessed it, you manifested it. We're actually getting into that right now with the bullpen first, and then we'll talk about the rotation a little bit. So we have Yarbrough on this team, and we send down Giovanni Cruz, right? We have Doval still on this team, who stunk. We have Bird up on this team for what? All three of those guys need to be off the roster immediately. I don't know what the Yankees are doing. Yes, LeGrande just got injured, but you could have Giovanni Cruz up. He's better than all three of those guys right now. He would be your second best reliever or third best reliever if you want to put Bednar and Cruz ahead of him. Fernando Cruz, I should say. Talking about Giovanni Cruz. But excuse me, Giovanni Cruz looked good and the bullpen's still crap. And we send him down. We don't have that good of a bullpen to be sending guys and future maybe bullpen stars down like that who proved in a short stint, no matter how little it is, that they could be effective. He's got that high velocity fastball. He's got that splitter. He's got a little bit of a slider. He throws it with ease, but it catches up on guys. He makes them off balance. He's got good movement, good run on his fastball. These are things that need to happen and need to be a realization for this front office. Boone made a bad decision also with this lineup, but before we get into that, the bullpen flat out terrible. Needs to address it. 2 to 3 guys during the deadline. And Chris, to your point, what's going on with this pitching and the rotation? You have Rodon injured, Fried injured, Schmidt injured, and Schmidt wasn't on the team to begin with, but the rotation was doing good when it was at the beginning of the year, right? It was Fried, Schlittler, Warren, Weathers, and who am I missing? Who was the fifth guy? Someone in the comments, can you remind me? It was Schlittler, Fried, and who else? Who else am I forgetting? It was Weathers, Warren, and then who was the fifth guy? Because Rodon and Cole were injured. I'm forgetting a fifth guy. I know I am. But those 4 guys, right, they were pitching really well, and look what's happened. They've hit a wall. You wanna know why, Chris? Schlittler, Weathers, Warren's gonna start hitting his innings. They're starting to approach their innings. Cam Schlittler didn't have a full season last year. Now he's gonna have a full season. Weathers hasn't been healthy a full year. Hopefully he's healthy, but he's approaching his innings in the first half. What's gonna happen in the second half? Will the bullpen save him? Will it be enough to save him? Then you have Will Warren, who's got off to a hot start, struggled a little bit, has recently. He's gonna hit his mark. But now guys coming in. Cole, Rodon. Rodon's injured again. Looking good coming back from his first IL stint, but now he's on the IL again. Cole is working his way back from Tommy John. Fried was pitching good, then he was pitching injured, and now he's going to come back trying to build back up. Hopefully he's himself. But with all these things happening, there are so many question marks and not enough staples in this rotation because there aren't guys that are on currently that haven't been injured or haven't or aren't going to exceed their innings limit. And that scares me. But with that being said, that's why the rotation is getting a little bit fatigued. That's why the bullpen, what they could do, they need to change it up. And I think you guys agree with me. Chris says Boone is such a hayseed. I can't take him seriously. We've got a really good frickin' team. Yeah, I mean, he's a buffoon. And Chris, also my boy Big Daddy Trent got a home run today. Trent Grisham homer today? I thought he homered yesterday, but hold on. Sorry, I missed the bottom of that stuff that's running on the bottom, the Brandon Beck and stuff like that. I just popped that up right now. But he homered today. Schumann homered today. Trent Grisham did not homer today. He homered in his first game back from the IL. Chris says, "Dang, I forgot what day it was." It's all right, Chris. We all do that. But Chris, can I ask you? I'm missing someone. It was at the beginning of the year, Schlittler, it was Fried, it was Warren, and it was Weathers. Who was the fifth starter for the Yankees? Can you are you able to get me that information real quick? Or tell me because I'm blanking on him. He says I blocked today's game. But yeah, I'm blanking on that. But going in while we wait on that, thank you, Chris, if you could get that for me. But we're gonna go into our segment. We haven't done this in a few episodes. Our new segment called Yankee in the Den. And for the clues, we have, and I don't know if I should maybe give it away this episode or I might just wait till tomorrow's episode and give it away at the beginning. But this person is a left handed hitting shortstop. He doesn't play currently in the majors anymore. He started off for Cincinnati Reds for 1 year. Then for 2 years, he was over in Arizona, played for the Diamondbacks. Then he went to the Yankees for 5 years, took over the shortstop position. Then in free agency, signed with the Phillies, only spent 3 years there before calling it a major league career. Who is today's Yankee in the Make sure you comment after the goes live, and tomorrow we will be I will be, or me and Jimmy will be giving away who the Yankee in the Den is at the beginning of the roster, but at the beginning of the live, my bad. But let's keep going into our notes. But thank you for the comment, Evan Spitzy underscore 4. He says Yankees are an inconsistent team, just an average team. And yeah, right now they're very inconsistent. Happens in the summer, the June swoon still it carries over into July. Very poor by Aaron Boone to have that happen every year. And it's they just act like it's something that's normal and that every team goes through at the same time every single year, which is not normal and should not happen. That means your roster construction isn't good and your manager maybe is a problem and you haven't seen that for I don't know how long. I forget how long Boone's been here. He's been here a while and you keep extending him. We need to switch things up and he needs to go. But some positives in this game is Jason Dominguez with the 2 hits. He goes yard. He gets a double. Bellinger got an RBI double in his last at bat, a clutch spot. Hopefully he starts waking up a little bit. Max Schumann has really stepped up for us when we've needed him and when he gets his opportunity and calling card to play. He plays good defense. He hits good. He works good at bats. He's got a good eye, but the offense ultimately didn't score when they had the opportunity today as well. They got to put the ball in play, just in the air, or put it in play somewhere with bases loaded and less than 2 outs. Just got to grind out good at bat. Missed opportunity because Rosario was up and he's been a good hitter for us. He really has. You can't tell yourself he hasn't, but he chased a very high, uncompetitive. What's up, guys? I am back. Hopefully, you let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. I was oh my god, the Wi-Fi, it happened yesterday too, if you watched yesterday's live. It went in and out. I'm sorry if I froze. Did you guys hear the last point I said? Can someone type that in the chat? And Evan says, "Great points. I agree. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate you commenting, being on here. Make sure you subscribe because we go over Yankees recaps and news, trade alerts, anything that happens, who's been sent down, brought back up. So make sure you subscribe. And thanks for being in here on July 4th. Hopefully, you had a good 4th of July. But, Christy, thank you so much. Fried Schlittler, Warren Weathers, and Luis Heel. Yes, Luis Heel was with the team and he didn't do good. I don't know if he's still on the IL in AAA, but I don't think he is. I think he's working back. but he didn't work out. I thought he would. And Chris says, "Yes, I froze. I'm back. Brian Cashman is messing with your video." Listen, Chris, he might have someone in here and he might be messing with my video because he does not like the points I'm bringing up, and he's scared that I'm gonna take over his job. I might take over his job. But listen, Evan, again, first time watching, keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I will subscribe. I really do appreciate that. Share that with all your friends if they're Yankee fans, family. Help grow this channel, please. But thank you for being in here on a late night as well. I'm glad we give, and you can ask Chris in the chat, we give real input and we're real on this. We don't sugarcoat anything. If something or someone needs to be addressed, we will address that and share our real thoughts. And if you should tune in tomorrow and on with every other episode, but hopefully I will be with Jimmy tomorrow, my co-host, and we bounced ideas off each other, and it's a really good show as well. And Chris says, I got you. I am a fact checker for the Yankees pod. Yes, thank you. I really do appreciate that. But moving on with this, hopefully you guys heard the Yankee in the Den, left-hand hitting shortstop, play for Cincy, Arizona, the Yankees for 5 years, signed with the Phillies in free agency, and spent 3 years with them. Doesn't currently play in the MLB anymore. Comment, put that in the comments after the video, and we will do it first thing tomorrow's stream. But now we got the All-Star game. We saw the All-Star game selections, right? And Ben Rice gets in. Vladdy is the starter, but he said he's not going to play because of his back, so he's not really going to participate. So it's going to be Nick Kurtz who's getting the start. But Ben Rice, I think, deserves it. We have Cam Schlittler first time getting in, Judge getting in, but he's injured, so he won't be playing. Bellinger getting in for the first time since 2019. Good to see that. Just a little All-Star game selection recap. Love to see some Yankees getting in. Would have liked to see more, but can't always happen. At least there's a few representing the Yankees. Hopefully the AL wins and beats the NL. But I have a question. Who's more responsible for the loss tonight? Is it Aaron Boone? Is it Brandon Beck? Is it the defense? Is it the offense? Or is it the front office? Who is more to blame? Who's to blame for this loss and for this stretch? Which guy is it to blame, or is it all of them? Is it every single point that I just mentioned? Boone, the front office, the defense, Beck, the offense, the front office, bringing up Beck, making bad decisions, starting Volpe, standing down Jones. I mean, who is to blame the most? And Chris D with the comments says Boone. And honestly, it's Boone and the front office tied together because they both make the decisions, and the front office can't see things and have Volpe starting every day in the analytics, the nerds. And Chris says, I don't like the way he runs the team. Me either. He's very bad. I hate him. I not don't hate because I like the way he backs up his players, but I dislike the way he manages and he's so analytical with the team. But thank you, Evan, for another comment. The front office is the root of all of our problems. Perfectly said. They are the root. It stems from them, the foundation, and then up and up and up. But or down and down and down, I should say. But the first one to get the hit would be Boone, and he hasn't. Nothing's happened. Nothing's changed. Every year's the same story. Boone should be fired. Every time in the summer, Boone should be fired. What's going on? What are the decisions? The front office. And nobody's getting any consequences. Nobody is taking the actual hit. Even though we keep saying it, nobody's taking the hit for it. And Chris says he's soft and the team takes on his personality. So he just sits in there, throws the seeds, chews the gum. I mean, he doesn't rile them up, talk to them in the dugout, get them hype, maybe have a talk with them before games, before a stretch like during a stretch like this, have some talks with them, fire them up a little bit, tell them to get their head out of the gutter. Tell Jazz to have a little sense of urgency to put his hat back on and not wear it above his head like he's above the whole organization. Don't run out there with lollipops or you're not going to see the field for a month. I mean, things like this go a long way and fire up a team and light a fire under players. Evan says Boone is a puppet. The Yankees analytics department sucks. 100% true because, like I've said on this show, is the and if you watched Clint Frazier, actually, he has a podcast and he's talked about this a little bit. Aaron Boone has a lineup at the beginning of every day. He has a lineup. The nerds, the analytics, that department has a lineup. They meet together and they form a lineup based on what the two of them see in each other's. That's what they do. That's what we were told that the Yankees do, and I 100% believe that because that makes sense of why they're so terrible. And Evan says, I agree with Chris. And Chris says, let's be honest. If Aaron Judge wanted Boone gone, he would have been gone a long time ago. I'll never forgive Judge for that. And maybe you're right because whoever Judge wants, they get. They do. You're 100% right with that. But I don't know if it's so on Judge or the front office. I don't know if they would let him have that much power, but I wouldn't be shocked if he does. But getting into the trades is we should trade for a rise. These are names that to be on the lookout for. Tomorrow we will have a segment. We'll look into the baseball savants of these players, but I just want to bring these names up and keep an eye out for them. Luis Arraez, Casey Schmidt is an underrated guy from the Giants who could have a fire sale, and they might be willing to sell Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, Robbie Ray. These guys maybe look into a little bit, but Casey Schmidt is underrated, having a good year. Schoolboy, we know. Joe Ryan, who's pitching tomorrow, keep an eye out. A package for Joe Ryan and Ryan Jeffers was the Brandon Beck a showcase for maybe the Twins or some of these teams? Bad showcase if it was, but Joe Ryan Jeffers package would be what I do and go get a Casey Schmidt and then get bullpen pieces, and you have it all figured out. But like I said earlier, moving on, Beck got sent down, and who's going to be coming up? Which pitcher in replace for him? Is ERC going to be coming back up? I said it earlier in the live. I don't know if he can or he has to wait till a certain day because he was just up. But hopefully, maybe he gets some spot starts before Fried comes back. I think he should be back soon. I don't know if before the All-Star break or after. Maybe he'll make a start before. But, I mean, I really don't know if I see that happening. Maybe. I know Stanton's supposed to take lives off of Fried next week, I'm pretty sure I saw. But Volpe should be going down with Beck as well, and we need to shake some things up. We need Cabby back at shortstop every day. But with that being said, going on to our last segment, I know it's late. Thanks for staying with me. But the probables for tomorrow. Joe Ryan, the ace of the Twins, versus Ryan Weathers, who's been struggling, had two good starts. Then his previous start didn't go as planned or as well as the previous two before his last start. But hopefully he gets back on track. He shows you that he can stay in this rotation and his innings isn't going to be a problem and he won't be getting that fatigued. But that is the rubber game tomorrow if they lose the series to the Twins. Also, I want to know your thoughts. Who they always kill. Are you more concerned about this team and have they hit rock bottom or are they going to keep collapsing and fumbling? But I want to see Cabby back at shortstop. I want to see Grisham in center. And I want to see Schumann or Goldie at DH because we know Goldie has been cold over his last 22, but he's been a phenomenal hitter for us and player this year. He's 0 for 22. Are we going to see him take a step back entering the second half of the season like he did last year? Who knows? But Goldie or Shoe at DH, Cabby back at short, and Grisham back in center field. They gave him the day off today because he just came back from his hamstring injury. But that is all I have tonight on the Yankees Den podcast. I am your host. And before we leave tonight, our sponsor of today's live stream is Richards Painting in Barnegat, New Jersey. Their numbers displayed That Richards Painting, Barnegat, New Jersey. No caps, no spaces. You can find them on Instagram. Their number's there too. And give them a call. Great service, great reviews, great painting. If you need painting done, give them a call and make sure you follow them. But that's our sponsor. And closing out tonight's video and live, whenever you're seeing this, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for all the comments. And Evan, the new subscriber, thank you. I'm your host, Lorenzo Scarabino. That's a close on the Yankees Den podcast tonight. Happy 4th, not 4th of July anymore, but happy 4th. Hope everyone had a great night and a great day. But as always, let's go Yankees.